All right, the audio is live.
So, we don't have either chairman and vice chairman. Who would you like us to open the meeting? And vote?
All in favor?
Are we open? Our decision was made all day.
All right, so it is 6:05 here at Jefferson County Courthouse. What is this suite? I can't remember what room, suite 240. So currently we only have 4 members at the moment. We do need 5 in order to have a quorum. So at the moment, if there's any decisions that need to be made, decisions can't be made, but this can still be left as an open meeting for discussion, so we can still proceed forward. I guess we could start with a roll call.
Pam Tubbs, sometime.
Jenna Hennekins, planner.
Nancy Bobby Martian.
Halo.
Christine Warner.
Milton, Minor.
All right. Well, then I guess if we all want to stand and we'll leave in the fleet and let.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I believe we did have some minutes prepared from last meeting, but since we don't have a form at the moment, that we'll just have to review those and then approve them for the next time. So then I guess we can just get right on in to the first item that we had planned tonight. So we're still just continuing through the comp plan. And tonight we have 2 sections that we want to go over. I think we're pretty close to having reviewed all the sections that we have created for this greater Rigby plan. So these last 2, we have the economic development and then the land use development. And we'll spend a bit more time with the land use one, as that one will kind of be, we'll be looking at the map alongside to get an idea of where we want to start seeing some of these land use designations. All right.
Did I see Steve Sterling pop up with him? He says he did.
That would make it.
He thought he did.
Oh, it would.
Something popped up I saw today. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, we were. All right, we go.
Yes, I'm on. I'll stay muted unless I need to say anything.
Well, I guess then it would be up to the committee members if you guys would like to review those minutes. And if you would want to approve them, or if you just want to wait till next time, then I'll leave that up to your guys' decision.
I think we should wait because he doesn't have this in front of him. Steve doesn't.
Was there a copy put on Google Drive, Kristen?
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, him. All right.
Yeah. Should I do what? Pull it up, wait, I think we should wait.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. All right. We'll jump into the economic development section then of the greater review plan.
I was gonna say, we printed it out, just so you guys could see the whole layout of it. And so it's like, if you like the format, or like the way it was, we're just so you can have the entire thing to look over for our next meeting.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
But this also should be on the Google Drive as well. We have a copy on there, kind of the one where everyone can go on and make edits online if they want to.
Well, what are you looking at? Section. You're just going over the goals,
Yeah, we're going over economic development and.
so we're just gonna read it to ourselves, and then do we need to read these sentences out loud, or what do we need to do? Radio stations don't believe in doing that. People change that.
Well, does anyone have any suggestions?
Well, you see anything with the first three, right, or?
The goals. Presentation. Conditions.
I'm curious when these were first written. How long have these been this way? Is this recent that you've written this?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are recent.
Yeah.
So these could be all AI generated?
Well, we have ideas already. I use AI to like improve the wording of it. There are ideas.
What do you say? Do you wanna try it?
No, I don't wanna try it. That's what makes me wonder, how did you come up with each?
Well, it is. I mean, there's a million different ways to write these plans. You can look at other counties, you can look at other areas. We've looked at a couple other areas. We looked at some of their goals and policies. We've used AI some. We think we're trying to build a relationship with an AI model. So it's familiar with Jefferson County. We don't go live with that model for another month or so. So we haven't really gotten too committed to that. But it's mostly reviewing other counties, typical goals and policies for these types of areas. And some of it's from our discussion, right? I mean, we talked about a lot, what we some of these words are a little textbookish. But that's because he's in college.
He's a walking textbook.
You are what you read.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you study? Are you?
I'm doing business management.
I have not many colleges that teach planning.
Christine requested that we turn off there.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. They all look good from what I can see.
Yeah, even the policies too on the next couple pages. See you look at which one.
No,
No?
no, the goals are great and the opening 6-1 is fine. I think we need to look closely at the development policies, because this is actually what's everything in force. Right, which number are you looking at? Well, I'm looking at all of them. I can see where we've made edits to them over the course of time. But if we're gonna, and that includes Josh and Steve, look at something closely, maybe it's the policies that we're putting in place. Wow, that's good. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'm just gonna policy ED8. I'm just not sure if that one, is that one just kind of going, lining up with the goal? One of the goals talking about commercial and industrial development.
Like too generic or just too specific? I think I see what you mean. It's just too broad.
No, it's actually not a bad sentence, because it shall contribute to a diversified local economy. So it's saying that we don't want something that doesn't fit with the economy, right? Some random, some guy gets a brilliant idea to put in a slaughterhouse and it just doesn't fit with the local economy,
Yeah.
right?
I'm just wondering if it kind of duplicates policy 3 on the previous page. Cause that one also refers back, or refers to commercial and industrial, just kind of worded a little differently. Maybe they're just gonna be combined.
So I was thinking that on 82 and 85. Both of them refer back to employment areas with adequate transportation, if they could be combined as well.
And I
Yeah.
just draw some arrows in front next to me that said that. It's a good idea. We can combine those. 3 and 8, 2 and 5.
Yeah, 2 and 5 are very similar.
Yeah, I think the development's different, but the purpose is the same.
Yeah.
Maybe we should add.
I see Steve's made comments. Written comments. They disappeared, so.
In the Zoom comment, or?
He said, one, he just said he'll be here in 10 minutes, and then the second one was talking about where industrial should be and what been previously discussed here. So the most recent comment he made was substitute.
Are you able to show that for him? I think
I
that,
didn't look for his comments because I turned him on. He has full ability to speak.
well, but he made a comment, if you could just show that on the screen, so everyone can read his comment.
Yeah, probably the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, very expert.
Oh, he was muted. I'm dragging down from expert.
Well, that's good, he's not driving the review.
Oh,
There. We were wanting more industrial in the greater Rigby, or having it go further out, I don't recall.
I think it said the industrial. With emphasis within city of Rigby before expanding outward. It's in 81. That you might be referring to.
Well, I do know that we do already have some like subdivisions and parcels that are zoned light industrial. And so I think it's probably worth keeping some of that language at least in the comp plan where we do have those existing uses. But they're not that many, but they are mostly just along the Highway 20 corridor.
that might even be good.
Anything else to add for the economic section then, or are we good to go on to the next section for land use?
I think we can go on. Yeah. It was like Josh was lost, but now he's back, but earlier he said he was good with it.
Okay. So this next one, it starts out with listing the existing land use designations. And so these ones differ from the actual zoning that's on the map. And the biggest, or the ones that are in the area is residential, agriculture, commercial, industrial, and recreation. And so with the new ones that we were proposing to show in this plan is basically the same, and they show on page 21. Showing the new land uses with the added one being the suburban residential / commercial land use designation. And so that's kind of where we're trying to encourage more of the suburban neighborhood zone where you could have commercial be on the bottom floor of the building, and then you could have residential development be on the upper levels. And so, those were the ones that we had thought of. Not sure if you guys wanted more land use designations or if you want less of them. And these land use designations, they differ from zones where a designation is more kind of showing what could the potential uses be on that land, whereas zoning would then dictate what's on the actual map, and depending, on what land use you'd like to do, we have a land use table that would then show, depending on what zone you're in, these are the types of land uses you could do versus couldn't, whereas the designation is like if you're trying to do a zone change, or if you're trying to do a conditional use permit, those things have to look at the comp plan map to determine if it would be meeting the comp plan, and then i.e. meeting all of these goals and policies of the comp plan. So it's kind of more like a broader zone, if you will. Cause like under the residential, you could have R1 and R5 zoning, so.
So does all that make sense? Does all that stuff make sense, the land use designations?
Yes. Thanks for rushing here.
I did not speak.
No.
Make sure that's on the minutes. It's documented. If it's in the minutes, I'm sorry, officer, the radar does not apply.
For this right now, looking on, page 21. On that one, just showing like the future and proposed land use designations that we're looking to put in place for the, greater Rigby comp plan. So turn to page 20-ish.
20's got the existing. Yeah, that's where that section.
Yeah.
goes. So, future remote agricultural.
Well, as a general designation, for the greater Rigby area, we're talking about this 30 square miles, right? And so to designate something inside that 30 square miles as agriculture doesn't really make sense, because we're gonna have water and sewer lines traversing that 30 square miles within just a matter of years.
Okay, I just,
Yeah.
they noticed it had changed.
Yeah.
So we're not necessarily carving out saying this is agricultural. It's agricultural and be there right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more just kind of a plan to show what we, where we'd like some of these land use designations to go. But not take away from what's currently existing or currently being used for that land.
Yeah, focusing on agriculture outside the area of impact, outside this 30 square miles.
Would you like anything kind of expanded on or added to those descriptions for those land use designations or?
So 731, the suburban residential commercial.
Mhm.
If I'm reading it right, it said you would give that designation with an anticipation that annexation would occur into the city.
Yeah. Yeah, currently we have a suburban neighborhood zone where if they have city sewer and water, they could go as small as 1/4 acre size lots. Which could line up more or be more favorable with city zoning than county zoning. And so kind of that designation, we like to see that be around city limits. As we also have that for that zone as it needs to be within a 1/2 mile. Or yeah, it has to be within a 1/2 mile of city limits for that zone.
Should we,
So the zone or the designation.
Currently, we have the suburban neighborhood zone, and those are just kind of the criteria for that zone. But then this land use designation, we would at least like to see that designation be around city limits. Cause right now we don't have any suburban neighborhood zoning other than 4 lots in the Linco Acre subdivision that's off of 4,200. But that's the only zone right now that we have that's urban neighborhood.
You're saying the current zone is requiring than 1/2 mile. What you're saying.
is that somewhere else in this plan, or is it refer back to,
That's in our zoning code.
okay?
Yeah.
It's under the code.
Yeah. So this would just be showing just kind of a map saying this is where we'd like to see that type of, essentially that type of zoning to go. And then that way, if an applicant were to want to apply for that suburban neighborhood, saying, hey, I'm right next to the city, I'd like to be able to have the smaller lot size. Can that fit in this area? And then that, at least then that would show that the comp plan, could support that or not support it based on having that land use designation.
The land use designation, this isn't applying to, this isn't applying to specific areas. Correct. I mean, we're not saying, hey, this land use is for this area on the map, or we are.
Yeah, it will.
Well,
It will, but it's not right now.
right.
But is that something that will happen before this is finalized? Does that make sense?
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
I mean, it's mostly, it's not that difficult, right? Because the industrial and the commercial are already somewhat established. We'd like to widen it some. But
So yeah, where you look, so all this tan, that's designated for residential. And so kind of the idea with having the greater Rigby plan is maybe to increase some of that commercial and decrease some of that residential, but increase more of that suburban residential to where it would make sense. You know, so it's likely, you know, probably not worth encouraging, trying to have that suburban commercial, you know, in these areas where the 1 acre subdivisions have already increased largely, but maybe more towards the north side where some of these larger acreages haven't been, you know, they've been farmed, but it's only just now that, you know, the property owners are wanting to develop it. But that's where we could, you know, likely place just kind of a large swath, you know, the color purple for suburban neighborhood commercial land use destination.
And it would primarily be around the city.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you're saying, as far as when we're talking about like commercial or industrial, potentially, I'm assuming that's the blue?
Yeah, yeah, this blue is all commercial and then the little splotches of pink, those are the industrial. And then that darker green is the recreation. And so this is the current comprehensive plan map that we have now. And so some of this kind of lines up with what's currently on ground, except for if I zoom in, there's this parcel right here.
Industrial.
Yeah, it's an industrial park, and so kind of what we would like to do is take what, or look at what we currently have on the map and then be able to have our comp plan more appropriately match what's on ground.
I'm thinking, yeah, started looking at what's currently there as far as commercial, industrial.
Yeah, cause
It's not-
this whole subdivision's all commercial and it's a subdivision, so.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, so I was looking at kind of this, in that zone, and you've got like that
Just
other
a
portion
line.
there is tied up in residential for the 191. So.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah, that
And so
little
it's
bit.
like you can't push too much, but yeah,
Mhm.
but is it like, up further north? So there's,
Let's see, where do we
so there is
have
some
them?
carved up there.
That's 500, yeah, there's still
So
a
much.
bit more, yeah. And I think it's just down a bit, but I think there are some properties also along this highway that they're in the residential comp plan, but they show up as commercially zoned, and they're being used for commercial, and so, you know, there's currently, we can see some conflicts with our comp plan based on what's currently zoned and what's being used for some of these properties.
Is that's something that will be evaluated and adjusted as part of this process?
Yeah, we would like to be able to,
Closer, yeah.
we'd like to be able to propose a comp plan map to go along with this comp plan document to be able to take to P and Z and the board.
And the residential's traditional, like R1, R5 kind of.
Yeah, so that residential, we're kind of wanted to create those two different land use designations, so have the one labeled residential is more of a low density type development, and then that suburban have to be more of a high density development.
Are we thinking that on the suburban residential, there's gonna be a lot of that? Is that kind of, makes, I know we're kind of talking around the city
Mhm.
and,
just depends.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
requires sewer and water hookup. So in other words, if we run sewer and water out to County Line Road, there's no way that land will annex into the city. And so we have to have zones that can accommodate those types of uses out, you know, away from the city.
oh, so you're thinking on the suburban residential, not having it by the city, but potentially far away, as long as there's
Well, and,
services.
right. Right. And so we don't have to zone it that way, or we don't have, we might wanna plan for it that way, right? Because we know that's what the plans are right now for County Line Road, right? We know that they wanna put in some high density housing. So we can plan for that. Do we, do we know that it goes on other places? Well, I mean, County Line is full of high density housing. I mean, those Pepperwood is 3rd-acre lots. And so,
These ones are also.
and then when the high school, or the school district owning that property on 240, or what, 4,000 or 4,100, there's, we know that, probably, of course, those are all high density as well, whether we like it or not, right? They're 0.6 acre lots, lots of them are.
Yeah.
And so just the potential, and then again, water's running down there to where she was on 50 North and 4,000 cities bringing water clear down there. So it's just a matter of time before, more development goes there. So, so we wanna plan for it, that's for sure. But that's what makes the area of impact with Rigby complicated, because they can't annex those subdivisions. It would just kill them. Because they'd have to provide those services to all those folks, and they can't afford that, so.
So if I have this right, so Frellis, which is down there, that new development.
Yeah.
Are they considering the suburban residential commercial type model?
Yeah,
But they're well outside of the city limits.
they are. Yeah,
We just said within so many miles of the city.
Well, and that's the current zoning that we have right now for that suburban neighborhood is. I guess, I don't know, should I just bring that code up to show it?
well, the code says that suburban neighborhood needs to be inside the area of impact and have services.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I suspect there's lots of ways you can accomplish this through planned unit development, different ways. First, they have to get sewer and water out there. So, right, either way it goes, they still have to get that stuff out there. But the code allows for 0.6 acre lots if you have city water, and it allows for 1/4 acre lots for 20 units per acre if you have sewer and water. So, and there's tools, there's development tools that they can use, urban renewal, right, for starters, to help fund those types of projects, so. So we just need to plan for some of that to occur.
So since that is my backyard, what you're telling me is I don't want this statement in here without it being like close to city limits. Because as far as,
We're saying you are close to city limits.
am I?
Well, you know what I'm saying, right? It's coming to you,
Yeah,
right? So, yeah, you're right. We don't want that statement in there.
yeah, cause I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not close to city limits, I don't wanna be in city limits, et cetera, but.
You won't be, but
Yeah, so basically what we're looking at here, the city won't, at least not in the near future, get to a point of annexation or anything like that. Who knows, sometime, way out there or whatever, but
the state, not until the state changes the annexation laws will these subdivisions be annexed.
but as far as this, currently the zoning says that it couldn't happen. Correct. But as far as if this comes into play, then that would allow them to kind of have the conversation of, hey, the comprehensive plan is stating this, therefore we should be able to change the zoning. But what you're saying is, hey, this is coming eventually no matter what, so we
Yeah.
gotta have a plan, so we're not getting broadsided.
Yeah. Well, what happens is the secret to planning is if you plan for it, then you can avoid some of these loud meetings, right?
Yeah.
Because we're doing it now. We're planning,
I'm I'm there, yeah.
Yeah, I had the loud meetings, right?
Yeah.
Where people show up and say, you never listen to us, well, we have to follow the plan. It's not that we don't listen to you, we're bound by this. And it goes both ways. I mean, the board conducted a hearing a couple of weeks ago. The lady, the property owner, you know, trying to get a rezone. It didn't match the comp plan and the board denied it. But they relied on the comprehensive plan to make that decision and for it to stand up in court. So, this does carry some weight. And that was the foundation for their decision. So,
Yeah. I guess that's just, I guess, personally I'm torn.
yeah,
And that, like, for me, that where that development is occurring, in my mind, is not a location for this. But it doesn't, that's me and all the neighbors, but that's because it impacts us more than everybody else. So, yeah, of course, we're gonna have a stronger opinion.
well.
As far as in your mind, as far as if you're looking at it, are you basically kind of of the opinion that that would be an appropriate place for that to occur?
So,
I mean, I just don't have the experience. I mean, I've seen these things go poorly in my experience, but equally, things weren't well planned.
right. And so the things that make these developments successful is the planning, right? Is making sure that the infrastructure is put in properly, right? And that it's addressed ahead of time. So you may see some small offices go out there at that intersection, but you're not gonna see major development occur until those problems are solved. The challenge is that what makes it a good intersection is the fact that they're large acre parcels on both sides of the road. And so there's room to create right of way, to make the roundabouts or to make the roads wider, to accommodate all of that, to answer all of those problems, right, with traffic. So it has the room for it. To try and do that somewhere else, even on the other side of Highway 20. It's difficult because of the subdivisions that are there and the counties
You're
down
on
at
the
the bottom.
Bonneville side.
No,
Well, I'm saying, but on the Bonneville side, it would probably also be challenging because that, county line, you don't have some of that same flexibility on both sides of the road.
well, you do, those are wide open fields across from where Trellis wants to go. Those are wide open fields.
Oh, yeah, yeah, on this side,
Yeah, but on Highway 20, you're right,
one side's.
they're already talking about, well, this house will have to go, or this property will have to go. So they're gonna have to buy,
Yeah.
right, if they decide to do that. They're actually looking at doing something different over there instead of a roundabout. I don't know how it's all gonna flush out, but, right? But that's what I'm saying is that's what makes that intersection inviting to developers is because it's wide open space, it's easier to develop. So, when you're dealing with all of these small lots, man, it just gets messy fast.
Or where you go to 95th or you don't want to 2 weeks food.
How big are the lots and the trellis? How big are they?
They haven't submitted a plat for it.
And it's not really, they're not gearing it for residential. It's more geared towards, well, as far as what they're currently saying is commercial, how it's currently zoned as commercial, but I think.
Yeah, the current
They-
zoning
they-
is commercial. They would have to change the zoning to
Yeah.
suburban neighborhood.
And I know that, yeah, in my conversation where they have said, oh, maybe we have some, like apartments and stuff like that.
Right.
And I said, I really don't like apartments, I don't want them in the backyard. Like, oh, maybe we have some warehouses there. But
Some what houses?
some warehouses,
Warehouses.
yeah, so kind of like, that's only,
It's kind of hard to see, but
yeah,
It's
so
a
it's kind of like
solid
the
line.
Palisades portion,
that's the
but
area.
not having industrial,
Yeah, it's hard to see. Yeah.
basically what Milton's saying is,
So, yeah.
you know, give up your dreams.
So we see like the
You got some pasture and all that, your wife's happy with it. I just think
Give it
the
up.
city limits right now are quite a ways away from the trucks. And that proposed development, but.
Yeah.
I,
What we're foreseeing though is where trellises, they're working on getting, an urban renewal fund to be able to add the water line, and they're planning to go, down 3,800 to add that water line in there. And so that's kind of where the importance of this plan is coming in, is that if there is this water line coming in, that we should be creating these goals and policies to encourage any new development, should be looking up to that rather than, sticking with the individual wells and septics to encourage that central water system for this kind of stuff. And so even though right now, there isn't that ability, but as soon as there is that water line to go down, then
They're gonna want to annex into the city to use the water.
well,
No,
they don't have to annex to use it.
Yeah, but they charge them more if they don't.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would be
Doesn't
double,
matter.
but.
it doesn't matter. It's actually, it probably is either cheaper or a wash by the time they don't have to pay property taxes, city property taxes, right? So they may pay double the fees, but, right, but they're not paying city property taxes. Like I said, city's not gonna annex that far out. They can't. It has to be contiguous, right? It has to be contiguous. They can't annex that way until the state statutes are changed on annexation. The cities can't annex these subdivisions and have it be worth it. So, and I don't suspect that the state, as much as they try to micromanage the cities and counties, I don't suspect they're gonna change those annexations.
So therefore, our code, Jefferson County, made a change to accommodate the suburban residential out at truck.
Already has. Already has. We already have it in the code.
That it's
but not
within
there,
so many miles
because it's not
or.
within half a mile of city limits.
Well, okay, so we changed one word. I mean, it was in,
Don't you change that.
it's called the
No,
P, it's
no.
called the P.
Well, I just did it. We're trying to get some clarity here for when these things come in. To say, okay, we wanna put suburban residential out at Trellis, but it's 2 miles or whatever from city limits, but we're gonna do it anyway, and that's what all of us have heard throughout.
Cause I guess that's a
Years.
years, as you're talking and I'm kind of processing this, I'm kind of going, I know everybody who I've talked to doesn't want this at that location. I don't know anybody who wants this at that location, except for the property owners.
Right,
And,
that's basic, cause they're the property owner, right?
which I'm,
Right?
yeah, which I'm on like,
If the property was up for sale, people can buy it.
which I'm a believer in,
Sorry.
having your rights, but at the same time, it does impact those who live around it. And that's where, when I look at some of this is, yeah, you can't tell them, hey, you can't develop, but is this the right place to develop this? And what you're saying is, from your perspective, it is.
I know, what I'm saying is, you answer all of these questions,
Yeah.
then you can develop. That's what I'm saying. We're trying to make it smart development, right? So we're not just saying, oh yeah, you can do it, and we're just, yeah, we don't care, man, you just go do it. No, we're not saying that. We're saying you take care of the roads, you take care of the sewer, you take care of the water, right? If you wanna be a city, if you wanna look that way, then do it this way. And we're gonna watch your engineering, we're gonna double check your numbers, we're gonna double check your work. We're gonna make sure it's all done correctly. So that the impact is minimal, right?
And I understand that aspect of it as far as like on the, like building administration, planning and zoning, like we want, like
I mean, that's what they did with all that Pepperwood, there was no planning. That's why county line is a problem right now, is because Pepperwood went in and whatever those are, Auburn Heights or Autumn Heights or whatever all those subdivisions are, and nobody looked at the impact it was having on Highway 20. Nobody.
Yeah.
And so that intersection's already blown, right?
Yeah.
The engineers are saying it's a level F, right? Right, fails, right? And so technically, a new developer coming in, he just has to maintain that level of service.
Which is nothing.
Right, which is a level F, right? But no, we're trying to change it to at least a C. So, right?
And you got like really weak ambition. But I guess I understand
$18 million.
as far as the goal being like, okay, we want, like the administration, we wanna hold people accountable, we wanna create these, you know, these, what do you call it, service levels or whatever. But I guess the part, that, you know, like you're indicating in these meetings, people are saying, hey, I'm not being heard, hey, this isn't, you know, what we want as a community, et cetera. And as we're looking at this plan, like saying, hey, Greater Rigby, we're saying, hey, as a community, this is what we want. That's, I guess, the question I'm asking is, are we looking at, is the purpose of this to say, as a community, this is how we want to see things go, this is the direction? Or are we basically saying, okay, we don't really have any say or control, and all we really can do is say, if they want to build it, we're gonna put in some requirements.
Not some.
It-
So,
Yeah.
so by 2050.
Yeah.
We're looking at a population of 85,000. Can't change that. Right? All I can do is plan for it. Where am I gonna put 50,000 people that wanna move to Jefferson County? And they wanna move here because there's 100,000 moving to Bonneville County and there's 75,000 moving to Madison County. And so that's why they wanna move to Jefferson County. And so I've gotta figure out, as a planner, we gotta figure out where are these people gonna go? Because if I try to maintain rural character and make everything 1 acre, then those 50,000 people are gonna take up, 17 square miles of farmland. Right? But who wants that? And so we have to be able to have density in order to, number one, make things cost effective to service, right? Because if I have 17 square miles of houses or better at 1 acre lots paying for road service, I mean, it's just not cost effective. So we push it closer together, we create the density, we don't have everybody strung out on one well and one septic. We have them, on a central system. And so, I mean, that's what we're trying to address is the growth that's coming. It's hard to say, unless we start doing like they did back in the 1800s and burning people's houses down and saying, we don't want you living here, right? We can do that, right? I swear I think about it.
neighbors.
I swear I think about it all the time, man. We don't want you moving into our town. Burn it, gone. I mean, it's amazing to me how we still have that same attitude 200 years later.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I'm looking at, I'm kind of going, okay, how do you, and maybe that's just the impossibility, which I think there are some impossibilities in this. How are we keeping the existing people somewhat content, or at least able to process and understand, okay, we don't have a choice, it is gonna happen, what I want doesn't matter. Cause that's really what I'm hearing.
No, hopefully what you're hearing is how can we make it better? How can we make it so when they do come, we make it a place that you do want to stay, right? If you want it to stay rural, it's not realistic. If we want it to stay the same way it is, it's not realistic, right? Because we have these strange things called private property rights, right? That allow people to do what they want on their property. And so, right? And then we have people who, I don't know why, they want their family to come back and live next to them. I don't know why.
I don't understand.
They do.
Especially right next to them, I see them or yell at them or be anywhere near, like, if you can get there in 5 minutes, it's too close. But I guess that's where, like, in my mind, the balance of, yes, I agree with the property rights, but it's the property rights of one impacting the property rights of the other.
Yeah.
And that's where, for me, as the next door neighbor going, okay, you put some of this stuff in there, my property value tanked. Who's gonna wanna buy my house? Cause nobody wants to live right next to a commercial development.
And, you know, everything that's positive about my property and my home is greatly diminished, et cetera, et cetera. And the noise level and stuff. And yes, at the same time, it's like, I can't tell them, you know, hey, Charles, sorry, you know.
No,
But
I guess what I'm
we've had the
saying is,
conversation with, I've had the conversation with them of like, how can we alleviate some of this? But I guess that's where I'm gonna have to have some of that with them, you know, but. But in the end, yeah, they don't care, but,
no, well,
I mean,
no,
they care, with my conversation, they care a little bit. Cause, I mean, they don't want me making too much of a fuss or whatever, and they wanna be a good neighbor, I believe. You know, but I think in the end, push comes to shove, they're gonna do what they want, but, and they have that right. But
well,
it's,
but what we're talking about is how can we make it better?
Yeah.
Right? Right? What are things that they can do, that we can do as a community to make it, as we accept these developments, as these things come in, how can we make it better? Right? And so there are, you know, when people say that, you know, I'm gonna lose all my property value,
I'm not
I
gonna
just
lose all of it.
rarely ever see that happen.
I've seen it happen in Salt Lake. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen here, but I could see that, yes. Someone's like, my house is less desirable because I now have some commercial, whatever ends up being there, you know, if I have an apartment like right next door, it's gonna be less desirable.
But
Now-
you're still, what, on an acre or better?
Yeah. So I mean, it's not that I lose all my value or whatever, but it is less desirable and therefore I may lose some value.
Or some,
Yeah,
but
but
the guy that wants to go get a, you know, coffee in the middle of the night is perfect.
we're not going to the apartment. and get coffee. I mean,
But you know what I'm saying, there's just, there always somebody will be interested,
yes,
that's why I don't.
but I do think there is some truth to the argument that, yes, it's less desirable and it will impact your value, but it doesn't like chop it in half or anything like, it's not the end of the world. I know my wife won't wanna be there anymore,
Yeah.
but so therefore that aspect of the value comes in, but, I guess that would be one of the things of how, in that situation, for example, how do we have, if we're saying, hey, we wanna do these types of things, we wanna make this available and work down that path so we can grow into this, is how do we handle that? It's bumping up against all this existing, you know, how do you have residential right next to suburban residential / commercial? And how do you have it so both people are content or can live together? And that's, I guess, when I look at this, it's not like we had the master plan and we're saying, hey, we're gonna draw these nice lines and there'll be a road between them or something, but
Yeah,
it's already developed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's how do we do that?
So what it kind of sounds like, would you want to see like a transition between kind of,
Yes.
because kind of what I'm hearing is more like, you know, you hear suburban as like apartments, multifamily, but I guess we're not, there's not enough conversation talking about, you know, single family dwelling homes that are just on half acre, third acre lot size
Yeah, and-
compared to that apartment. So
yeah, in
like,
my mind, like growing up and everything, coming from Salt Lake, suburban was not apartments.
right,
Suburban was, oh, yeah, you're just in the, like, a subdivision, and everyone wanted a
Mhm.
quarter acre or whatever, you know, hey, a half acre, that was huge. you
well,
know?
what's up in, Cottonwood Heights, isn't that a suburban neighborhood?
Which part of Colorado?
Cottonwood Heights, Utah,
Yeah, I'm just, there's,
right, I mean,
yeah,
those apartments there are pretty expensive.
oh, yeah, there's all kinds of places where apartments, are, you know, are popping up and, yeah,
For
it's,
500,000 RV.
oh, some of them are, yeah, but equally they're taking places like, yeah, in Murray, all of a sudden you've got these just dense apartments and stuff like that. And there's obviously a need, and I mean, that's why I'm looking at this and going, I'm not saying that there's not a need or something, but it's, yeah, in a buffer or whatever. How do we have it so that some of these areas, there's a transition or whatever? Cause yeah, putting them right next to each other, you know, just the same, like, the poor,
So what,
yeah, the poor guy who's sitting there, his house is right inside that industrial area.
Yeah.
I mean,
That one,
I don't know if you.
where are you pointing?
which one, Klein?
There's
one?
right there, yeah, Bart, he has got like, yeah, he is surrounded. Huh? What was that?
No, poor Bart. That was his land. He developed that.
He was involved in selling it off and
Yeah,
very
that
well,
was-
there
that was
become
Well, in that
industrial.
case, I don't feel so sorry. Well, it was my understanding, it was family land. I didn't realize that he. it was-
Yeah,
he had-
yeah, it was family land, Hancock,
Yeah, but I
Bart
didn't
and
realize,
his brothers.
okay, I didn't know that he still had pieces, so, yeah, but yes,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I would not want that to happen, you know,
Yeah.
that, would, you know, the big, you have all that noise and everything.
Ah, Jake brings, man, there's just something to that sound.
Yeah, you see that on Facebook, someone's like, oh, yeah, that's great, I love it, and I'm like, wait. Oh. Maybe for you, I don't know, that's not like my wake up in the night,
It's the sound of the economy, man.
yeah.
So, no, that's
Yeah.
fair. Well, how's it? Well,
And I guess that's where when I look at some of these things, like the whole suburban
Mhm.
aspect of, hey, the smaller lots, some of that, that doesn't cause me much like anxiety, and I would think, you know, I think yes. Some of the, you know, my neighbors, stuff like that, they're like, oh, they want everything 1 acre or bigger, you know, this, that, and the other, but I think, like to your point, I think that becomes unrealistic when you're looking at the growth. But I think at the same time, it's how do you, there's that next level of density, where you're now talking apartments and stuff like that, or duplexes or something like that, where that's kind of going,
well, so let's talk about that for a second. And so the commercial zone allows multifamily in it. Okay?
yeah, we don't bring that up.
Well, but it allows it because the first floor has to be commercial businesses. Okay, so it allows 20 units per acre, but the first floor has to be commercial businesses. Okay, and so the commercial zone, so if Trellis is gonna put stuff out there, unless they rezone it to suburban neighborhood, that first floor has to be business. Which, that's grown in popularity in the last 20 years, is that mixed use, right? Where, I mean, they're, you know, Boise is talking about putting in a 45-story apartment complex. The first floor is commercial businesses, the next 7 floors are parking, and then the rest are housing units, right? On 0.9 acres.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
Someone's trying to milk that lot for as much as they can get.
Yeah.
When you talk about land value. Yeah. So, yeah,
But, yeah, I know in talking with them, they have kind of, oh, well, maybe we don't do apartments, maybe we do like, I can't remember how they word it, in my mind, it's a duplex. You know, and it's, yeah, kind of a townhome kind of thing, and like, that's, yeah, like you're saying, that's not first floor commercial.
Right.
So, yeah, that would be them going down the path of getting it rezoned or whatever.
yeah, they have to rezone it to do those types of things. So,
And I could just, like, obviously, I'm in this situation, but I could see that same conversation, the same concerned citizen showing up in meeting and being upset, et cetera.
it is.
And saying, hey, how come we were listened to? How come, you know, what we want has never, you know, and it's kind of like, hey, in this plan or whatever, I don't know how we address that. You know, if it's something where, you know, maybe if it's, you're doing the suburban residential commercial thing, like, hey, if you're butting up against a residential area, that you have to have, I don't know, more of a residential, you know, call it the, you know, half acre, whatever type lot on the boundary that's next to the residential or something.
And required sidewalks, so you can get to those businesses, and get your coffee at 1 in the morning, and get
Yeah, and my fence around my
little
property
bridges
is,
across the canals, it's lights, hey.
it's got a hot wire and kids come over, you know, I gotta defend it.
You know, it's,
Can you bring back the picture of the city?
Yeah.
And then point out where Trellis and where Pepperwood are?
So these lots are all trellis, so this piece, this one,
Okay,
this one, that one,
yeah, is that
and then,
property?
And my house is the one for down,
oh, do we
where
want
it
to
says
rest you?
Axton. So the one that says Axton, I'm just to the right of that.
Okay, where is it? Oh, this one?
I'm just over.
Oh, no, this one, there we go. Make sure everyone can see that.
That's why I'm like,
And where is Pepperwood?
And then
You're back.
and then kitty corner to that is 191. And so, yeah,
Yeah, right
One
there.
one means what?
Hunter Chase subdivision, the preliminary plat,
So 161 acre parcels.
160.
161 acre parcels?
No, oh, yes, I
It
did.
hasn't been, it's still in preliminary plat stage. It's not. If they
Yeah.
run sewer and water down that road, that's, that.
That intersection down there is gonna be awful. Just awful.
Well, again, there's cities that have addressed that. There's ways to address it. So, and that's what we're working on, is trying to address this. So, yeah, it should have been addressed 10 years ago. But here we are.
Right, Pepperwood?
So Pepperwood is right here, is these, three, they did them in divisions.
You wanna move it
And
over?
so right
Yeah.
here is their
Oh, I
leach
see.
field.
I could see.
that's good to see.
Move the map over so you can
Move
see.
the map over.
Oh,
Or
I'm
get-
sorry.
Get rid of the.
There you go, sorry about that.
There it is.
So right here.
What you're saying.
Right there in the center of the map.
So that one vacant, that large vacant lot right there where Arrow was, that's the community leach field for that subdivision.
Yeah, that I think is
It's probably one of the largest in the state.
Community what?
Leach field.
You mean in the center or the thing to the left?
This over here. is
Wow.
their leach field, yeah.
Is that because it needs to be that big? Or they just, where it
Well, you
says-
gotta have reserve,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And how big are those lots? And
Third
Third
acre,
how many are there?
maybe 500.
And they're just now developing.
Oh, no.
No, these were back in what, 2010?
Oh, they're already up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the last one was this third
These are the
one.
folks
They
you
were
meet at
finishing
county
up.
line at 8 o'clock. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greeting the other,
They
coming
were
the other way.
200.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
It's an interesting
Yeah.
conversation, though.
You know, again, the state continues to micromanage some of this stuff. They passed this law last year that required that cities that have 10,000, population of 10,000 or more have to allow 1,500 square foot lots. They have to allow, and so they call them a starter subdivision. And so, I mean, that just blew up zoning inside those big cities. So I have no idea what a house looks like on a 1,500 square foot parcel. Did I say acre? 1,500 square foot parcel.
How big is that?
It's 60
30
by,
by 50,
It's what?
30 by 50.
Oh, yeah, I guess the map, yeah. That's like a room. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big room, but I mean, yeah, that's a shop.
yeah, it's called affordable housing.
With no yard.
Well, right, well, who can afford a yard?
Right outside the door, you will see that.
So you say, I mean, the state is really starting to get their nose into this business.
How do you provide services something that small?
Right?
Well, I'm just thinking, you know, that's pipes popping off every,
That's a city.
You just gotta plug it into your front yard, or
There's a city law,
right there in the city street.
10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not
that was too much.
friends.
That was absolutely.
Fair.
All right.
I think I started it again.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's, I guess, good clarification for us is that. In my mind, I'm kind of like, okay, this is more around Rigby, but when we're actually talking about this, the application, unless it's
It's 30
specifically
square miles.
worded. Yeah, but as far as unless we were specifically saying this, we call it, this land use designation is applicable near city limits or something, unless that language is in there, it could be applied anywhere within.
Yeah.
Within the comprehensive permit.
Well,
Within the 30,
whatever,
yeah.
wherever services, so that, again, the challenge, right, is if they run sewer and water down 3,800 all the way to County Line Road, right, that just opens up that whole area for that type of development. We know they're gonna run water down 4,000 down to 50 north, down to Greg Price's property, right? His farm down there. And so, that's already in the works. So, right? So with city water, you can have 26 acre parcels, right? And then, of course, Red Fox, and then everything between, the city limits, Haley Creek and Red Fox, they're all now starting to look at, you know, what does development look like for us? The challenge there, I mean, Haley Creek's right there on the border, they could get city sewer right there and annex once the city gets rid of that moratorium. And then, of course, we know the property out on 3900 is, they're waiting for the city to lift their moratorium so they can annex into the city. So there's lots of talk, right? We just need to be aware of it and figure out, you know, the best way to be able to address it.
I was like looking at this, yeah, there's a lot of pockets of developments.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, you could have in any of these pockets, you know, one of these undeveloped areas, all of a sudden wanting to do something different, and having the same people upset or whatever. Yeah, having it planned.
Well, at one time you were gonna go through and identify those parcels that were set to be developed that hadn't quite started on building. Did you do that?
yeah, we did.
How do you find it on the,
You don't.
I don't?
You don't, no. It's the,
Anything else?
there. It's a long story. We had a couple of interns help us out with the mapping and, it got really complicated for a curious guy, so. I have asked him for months and months to make this,
Terrible.
shareable, but can't seem to figure it out. So I couldn't figure it out, so I can't be critical of him not being able to figure it out. There you go, 1,060 vacant subdivision lots in the greater Rigby area. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
So you just gotta find 49,000 more lots
screenshot that, send that over to Heidi.
to count.
Yeah, let me take a picture while you're up there, please.
I can also get a screenshot of this and then I can email it to everyone.
And also put it on the one that, or
The Google Drive, yeah.
and this is an internal link, right?
Yeah, this internal map, it's the map that, so even our map that we use, has permissions only for the planning department. It's different than the public facing map. We have a lot more layers on our map.
Yeah, you're cool, I get it.
Well, I don't know, there's some things that, you know, not secret, sacred. We don't want you to know about it, no, violations and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
So on page 38, under housing overview, it says that based on current R1 zoning, approximately 9,823 parcels have potential to accommodate future residential developments. Where did that number come from?
So go back. So right there, so this is talking about just vacant acres. And so when it's looking at that, that's saying, here's the total amount of vacant acres, and then depending on the zoning, this is potentially how far out, how much further out they could be broken out to.
And these
If it
are
was,
basically 1 acres, right?
Yeah,
yeah, and that 1 acre zoning.
is that the number you said? Is that the number that was in the document?
Yeah, that's the number in the
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, that's where that came from.
Thank you.
Yeah, here, let's see. We had to build some when we started this whole process. Several analysis maps. That's countywide. Based on, the current zone. So,
Hold on, leave it there for just a minute.
so if all the parcels were broke down to lot size minimum, 40 acre minimum, 20 acre minimums, right? You have the potential for 46,000 parcels, but we don't want to do that. It's hard, right? And I think there's one more that was kind of interesting. Which one did I, not sure, I sure was.
The one I wanna see is the grandma's chocolate chip cookies.
What?
Those are the best chocolate. I mean, ever. We used to own a bakery. That recipe.
Well, you know, I mean, that's, I don't know that I can trust you
Well, they're
on,
not.
on that, them being the best unless you like. were
Well,
to
it's all
bring some.
different, because it's, yeah, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, we'd have to, yeah, and it may require multiple attempts at verifying.
Well, only if you help us
What else
get
do you
this done,
have?
and maybe we can reward you with some.
I'm here.
Yeah, that's those numbers that we put together.
Thank you.
Yeah, on that same page, that page 38, the housing goals. Like goal 1, manage residential growth while preserving rural character. Yeah, Milton's like totally not cool with that, like just. Yeah, we don't want no character.
We do,
I'm kidding, her, but
yeah,
Adaptable character,
it's,
flexible character.
it's, it may have character, then it may get watered down. You know, by the time it's 2050, there is no character, it's just like every other place.
no, pretty soon you have to create this character and this character and this character.
Well, that's, like, I didn't realize, like, living in Salt Lake, you know, working with my dad, who grew up there and stuff. There were all these different little cities, and they were distinct entities.
Yeah,
And they, you know, they still exist, but there is no distinction from one to the other. But yeah, they were completely different entities, and they had like their own, not like culture, but you know, to a certain degree. But yeah, over the years, it's like they just melded together, and you can't tell when you go from one to the next. The only difference is who you're paying your taxes to, and you know, how good your services are on.
it was, so Sandpoint's kind of that same way, and the problem that they have is there's nowhere to grow. So the only way to increase, population is to increase density. And so all of those places are starting to allow taller and taller buildings, because they can't grow wider, so they have to grow up. And that's what they're all doing. Because people still wanna move there. And what happens is the land values go up so much that, you know, this single family dwelling is now worth, you know, 2.3 million. But if I tear it down and build an apartment complex, now it's worth 8 or 10 or whatever, right?
Or the rich people come in and go, hey, yeah, I'm gonna buy that house, it's in a desirable area, knocked down, rebuild, and all of a sudden, yeah, it's just much more expensive. You know,
Yeah.
place, but you're like, oh, well, okay. And then the neighbor does it, and
Yeah. Jones.
it just makes me want to. I got away from that, but no, tell me,
Embrace
I
it.
gotta go somewhere else.
Embrace it. Embrace the change.
Embrace the change. I ran away from the change there, Milton.
Lesson learned. Now embrace it.
Run for further.
Oh, yeah, I don't know where.
If it's
Wyoming?
desirable, then you're hosed. You know, only if you're out in the desert, you know.
Nevada, Arizona, right?
I mean, I guess you could go out to like, what is that?
Custer County.
Oh,
Well,
Nebraska.
you could go to Custer County or Clark County, but just not near the city. You You know, there's no water, there's no, you know. You don't have a tree, you know, there's no shade.
You have sagebrush.
Yeah, just crawl on the ground.
I mean, there are people that love that life, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't understand that, but yeah.
you drive through Arizona or even Nevada and the billboards, you know, 40 acres, you know, $2,300 down, $230 a month. People do it all day long, buy a 40-acre parcel. Move out there in the travel trailer.
My grandma had a ranch outside of Ely and tons of land. But yeah, it's like, yeah, but it had been a long time and they did have water and stuff, so, but.
Is that kind of say it's Ely, not Eli?
Ely,
I always thought it was Eli.
I never thought about it, but I just grew up with
You
that.
grew up there?
Huh.
That's all, no.
No, I know that.
Well, I mean, if, you know, Du Bois should be Dubois, but hey, you know, we're not going there. I brought it up when I was up over there and, you know, they didn't, you know,
They didn't like
yeah,
it.
they didn't.
They corrected
Oh, it's like Moscow.
Exactly.
Moscow.
I had a judge get really mad at me because that's what he gone to school and I said it wrong. And, but so I guess I was asking a question on Zoom, on the chat, is
Oh.
kind of on the industrial piece.
Mhm.
And I don't remember, but at one point, we're kind of, in an early conversation, we were kind of saying, hey, for this area, we're wanting to not kind of push industrial, we wanted to kind of have that be outside of the 30 miles.
Yes.
And that's still the plan?
Yeah, we talked about it this morning with the board, talking about I-15 and doing some industrial parks out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So we to write some codes, you know, some warehouse storage codes for data.
And would that be something that here in this land use piece, would we like add the language here, kind of saying, hey, this is kind of more outside of the area? Or,
Well,
Yeah,
but this
yeah,
one,
you can
because
say
there's still some existing industrial,
Yeah.
and so we don't wanna just write them off the map and say we don't, you need to leave now, because we're not allowed in this. And so maybe instead of maybe it could just be
new,
adding to that industrial definition to say more, more favorable with commercial type uses versus heavy industrial. Because we do have two different zones of light and heavy, and so kind of where it falls in the mix, I mean, the industrial part that's down by county line, a lot of it realistically could fall under probably as commercial use versus industrial use, and so I mean, I guess maybe we could just change them to be commercial designation versus industrial. That's maybe kind of the direction to move that.
I was just kind of thinking, yeah, if you can't, if it's already industrial, you can't say, oops, sorry. You know, but I mean, I guess you could if it fits the category, which I looked at all of them to see if they all, meet the commercial, but. Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it. Having the, I guess, the language of. You have your existing, but future or whatever is. I guess not destined to be in this area or whatever, so that when someone does want to change their zoning or whatever, it's like, hey. Our comprehensive plan is that industrial is not in the area.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that would be worded, but.
Well, and the challenge with, manufacturing industrial type uses is they're gonna want bigger acreage and they're gonna want, utilities, right? Electricity especially.
Yeah.
And then if they could get rail, right? So again, that's why we're kind of pushing it out towards I-15. There is some rail over on, on Highway 20 and, we have some commercial zoning over on Highway 20, close to the Manan Lorenzo exit. That we have folks looking at putting in a rail spur over there and using it, but it still fits under the commercial zoning that already exists. So. Oh, and that's probably outside this area, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, it's, you know, yeah, it's up there,
Yeah.
top of the screen.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, we could just not recognize industrial land use designation on the map and just have it be more commercial. Like, but I mean, realistically, most of what's on these or in these industrial subdivisions is it's not really heavy manufacturing or anything. It's mostly just warehouses and distribution centers, which
Yeah,
arguably could fall under the commercial zoning anyway.
And that was where, when I found out that it was zoned as industrial, I was like,
Yeah.
what's the difference and how would this? Yeah,
well, they could be manufacturing if they wanted, but light manufacturing indoor,
Yeah, but again, that's also allowed in commercial zones
yeah,
or commercial designations, so.
just,
but yeah, I guess.
yeah, that's a good.
But, you know, say, hey, we don't like you.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, the industrial one. And then would you wanna see on here kind of something showing between, we can work on the wording of it, but a transition between that residential land use designation and that suburban residential / commercial and try to find like a middle ground on that.
Something, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, and I, you know, or even in there, like the distinction of, like, what do you call it? The, you know, the like, suburban residential, smaller lot size versus, you know, the distinction between that and the multifamily. Cause I mean, yeah, I guess in my mind, when I'm looking at that, you've got like suburban, you've got the, you know, the multifamily, and then you have the commercial multifamily, or like, in my mind, three distinct, you know, types. Because like, you know, my past experience would be, yeah, you have the suburban, you know, smaller lots, all kinds of places. You have like the multifamily in, you know, certain spots and, you know, that was kind of be, they're kind of more combined, you know, they're not like in the middle of the neighborhood. You know, like they're on a street or something like that. So they're kind of have a better spot. And then, yeah, those where they have the residential above, the commercial. From what I've seen traditionally, that's in more like the commercial area, more of a, hey, it's like in a city, you know, downtown or something like that, where it's like one of those planned developments where they, you know, like in Boise, there, I think there's one right next to the Costco or something like that. And it's like, it makes sense kind of there. No one's just tired of you talking.
No, no,
Very important information.
no, appreciate the suggestions.
Yeah. So, anything else then with? Got a couple policies in this land use one. Any other policies to add, or those ones good?
Well, back to the,
You know, 74?
Yeah, back on page 21.
That's medication. Well, I'm very good about it, you know.
so what is policy 2 mean, and, you know, we encourage them to build next to the city, but they said, well, we don't want to, so. Bad enough.
There's not a whole lot of weight there.
Yeah, probably ought to revisit that policy.
So on the -1. So we're saying the policy for growth is that new subdivisions basically are gonna show that they can connect to public facilities. So are we saying that that's what we desire?
No.
And that they have, you know, and we're saying here that they're either available or they have a funded plan. Cause I'm thinking like on the 191, it's like, I had a conversation with them like, hey, there's a possibility of water, you know, the city utilities coming down, and et cetera, and they're going, like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do the well and the septic and stuff, and, but, yeah, we'll have it kind of somewhat plumbed, or I can't remember how we worded it, for one of them to connect. But I'm like, it's likely at some point, you know, here in the near future, that will come right by you. That should be a part of it, you know, versus but maybe I just have the wrong perspective. What do you think, Noel? Like,
No,
it's like, at least in my mind, I wasn't like, hey, if you're gonna develop and you're gonna have utilities nearby, help your, you know, future property owners to be able to tie into it, because tying in after the fact, you're gonna be ripping up roads, all that and the other. But I don't know how much the infrastructure is for that piping.
so we've actually written those in the area of impact agreements for Riley and Manan and Roberts. And it works in those areas because the developments, so there's not been subdivisions developed outside city limits like there has been around Rigby. So this mess around Rigby that occurred 15 years ago is just, yeah, it's just really hard to put that in now because those subdivisions are, you know, they were approved all those years ago. So,
But this is saying new.
well, I understand, and they just fight us tooth and nail on it. Because it's expensive and they don't know when and wah. And when the city's not willing to annex a subdivision, the only way that this would work is if the subdivision or the developer would add a note on every deed that says that once the city services are here, you will annex into the city and hook up. That's the only way that those kind of policies really become cost effective. So, yeah. It's been frustrating for some of that old stuff coming online. But Lico Acres, those guys, they have that agreement. All those properties said they would use city services and that they would hook up or annex. So. But man, Red Fox, they fought us and fought us and fought us when we told them they had to annex. Oh, man. They would not do it. And the board finally gave in and let it go. Teton Heights the same way. They wouldn't let them do it. They fought and fought and fought. So, because they were approved 15 years ago without those agreements in place. So,
Well,
I think that I just don't see us having much 1 acre development in the greater Rigby area. I think that we're, you know, if Hunter Chase actually does final plat at 1 acre lots, I would be amazed. I just think that demand is too great. And I think that if we're gonna start running sewer and water out, all these developers are gonna wanna put in, you know, sub-acre lots, so.
Man, you're really pushing me to move there. Well, I guess,
Yeah,
no, yeah, so I guess my question is, what's the purpose of that? OU-1?
well, that's what I was just telling Vern, is that we gotta sit and read these a little bit better before we bring them to you.
I mean, cause I'm for it, you know, but maybe it's a wording
Yeah,
change or something,
yeah,
you know.
Well, and my question is, does that mean roads within only that subdivision? What about roads that lead to that subdivision?
so again, we're getting better at that. And so with the new road standards, yes, we're talking about the roads that lead to that, no doubt. And we're also talking about the intersections, and so that, you know, like with Hunter Chase, we're gonna make them go back and redo their traffic study to look at the intersections on 100 and on 200. I'm sorry.
37.
Yeah, 37 and 38, yeah. Yeah, whatever it takes, 37.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who does the traffic study for a new subdivision? Who does the traffic study?
What's their developer's engineer?
It's on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not cheap to do. So the good thing about it is that we now have a county engineer on staff. And so he knows how to review those. Plus, he also has, tracking equipment, which, we did not have up until about 6 months ago. And so he's already out doing tracking on some of these roads. Gathering information. That's how they made some of the decisions to increase the speed limits, is because of his equipment that he has out. So, so he'll have an idea of what it should or shouldn't be based on that, so.
So are you saying you shouldn't worry about these because?
We'll come back.
You're gonna bring it back?
Yep, we'll bring it back to you.
I mean, I like it as far as, but if you don't like it and you don't, you know.
Well,
I mean, it's obviously not perfect at this point, but
yeah,
I do like the idea of kind of pushing in that direction. And yeah, I agree that if they've already gotten approval or whatever, makes it
well,
trickier.
again, new residential subdivisions shall demonstrate adequate public facilities. If they're not required to have public facilities, right? So. Something to think about, for sure.
Here's a question for you. The decisions that we come up with, the ideas, does it also impact what's happening around the annexed areas that are possibly gonna be annexed? The areas that are in impact, does it also impact those if the city's gonna take them over?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, until the city annexes them, right? So it's under county jurisdiction until the city annexes.
And then the city has different rules?
Yeah, yeah, they have their own comp plan, their own zoning. And so as soon as property is annexed into the city has to immediately provide, or, immediately place new zoning on that property. Cause
And they're
technically it becomes a no
responsible.
zone when they annex it in, kind of like when we do a zone change or a comp plan, the zoning that goes underneath goes away and then you have to lay down a new zone.
Okay.
So you at the end of those?
Yeah, so unless you have anything more to add for those two sections, that was all we had planned tonight was those two.
Yeah.
Seemed like a lot, huh? But actually, we got a lot clarified, so thank you for your questions.
Well, those good discussions tonight.
Yep.
Well, I'm always good for a problem here.
You like to debate, is that what you're saying?
Oh, man, you should come stop by Bill's office for
You see this thing?
I hope you
Are you an attorney?
You know, I'm an IT guy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Depends.
Don't sell yourself
Depends.
short.
When it comes into like policies and stuff like that, like I've had to work more recently with county commissioners and stuff. So some places, like it's the same thing of, private business where you can go to the CEO and say, hey, we need to do this to increase our security. Have money, it makes things a little more challenging and stuff, they don't really want to. So it's like, yeah, you have to explain it and have the argument, not, you have to argue with them, but
Yep.
lay it all out and help them understand that, yeah, if they don't, it's gonna have an impact that they're ultimately responsible for.
Right?
In the private sector, it becomes really simple because it's the bottom line, where, oops, you don't get a paycheck or something, you know, public sector, it's, yeah, that's one of the conversation. It's,
The board approved 530,000 software for the sheriff's office today.
which one?
Tyler Technologies,
Well, law enforcement with Tyler? I didn't know, yeah. Which is always fun, because I've had interaction with a lot of different Tyler technologies.
I know it,
I've never heard anything positive.
I know.
They probably picked the cheapest.
Oh, no, that's the Tyler, not cheap.
Tyler, well, I mean, I don't know how they compare to Spillman.
Oh,
They're probably in the same ballpark,
mm,
but Spillman's pretty pricey.
yeah,
And that's
pricey.
now owned by Motorola. And so it's kind of, yeah, Motorola adds their, you know, everything has that little additional price tag to it, but.
Spillman works a whole lot better than New World and a lot of other products that Tyler sells.
Which way?
I said Spillman works a lot better than what a lot of the products that Tyler sells, like New World and several others. I worked in Spillman for about 15 years. We're the first agency in the state of Nevada to adopt them.
Yeah. So I did the transition in Howard County.
Hate to interrupt, but I would entertain a motion if you would like to end the
I don't
meeting.
think we want to entertain you. I thought I was already doing that. I mean, I guess I can entertain more.
I mean, I guess it's just a matter if you wanna record it or not, I know. Just get more sound bites from you.
I second it. We're just.
Yeah.
I know that, I know that.
I'll motion it.
No, I just entertained, I didn't make a motion, I don't have that ability
Asking
to,
somebody on,
yeah,
so,
Chris made a motion, I'll second.
okay. Alright, now we are adjourned.
You
well,
got
you didn't do all in favor.
Oh, sorry.
I would have disagreed.
it. You know where you live now.
Okay.